right. Can you guys see everything okay? Looks good. Okay, great. I don't have an assistant today, so I'm trying to man a few things. Even the tech savvy get flustered from time to time. All right, and it is Mercury retrograde, so stuff is going wonky. All right, so I'll turn down the volume a little and introduce you to my latest inspiration and baby called Catalyst, and I'm so excited to introduce all of you to this program that I feel like I've been weaving and creating in some form or another, really being initiated into for quite some time. Um, I am intending to run this program initially it was going to be a 90-day program, and I've really kind of compacted it into a 60-day program. The intention is that this really initiates the community aspect of my practice and my business. So I do intend to hold more group programs, but this will be sort of a kind of a foundational program. So I'm calling it Catalyst because I really do intend for it to be kind of a container that propels each of us forward into this beautiful new direction that I do believe, even in these times, especially in these times, is not only possible, but probably required for those of us who are healers and teachers and guides and who are here to really do something with this inspiration and this soul that we are being called to activate here. I believe that now is actually the time for creativity, for purpose, for light. And so Catalyst for me is sort of a container. It's a group focused, community focused program, but you will be doing your work to really refine and clarify and move forward in whatever creative process you're in with your work, with your business, whether that's the business you already have or the business you're imagining, the thing that's sort of that you've been wanting to and dreaming of creating for however long. It's an activation. So that's really what I'm intending it for. And I call it Soulpreneurs because the people who will really most benefit from this are people who are kind of taking it on as an entrepreneurial venture, branching out on their own and having to wear a lot of hats. So it's a chance to really focus and ground your ideas, your intentions, anything that's sort of been out there wanting to be created. I will give you the structure, the feedback, the tools, and the steps to be able to do that. And it's all rooted kind of in the foundational brand. I call it brand strategy, but it's really business strategy, it's marketing strategy, it's all of the above. In order to do brand strategy, we kind of touch on all those things. So before I get into all the weeds, let's just start with introducing you to Catalyst. The intention is that we help you recalibrate your brand and business for the journey ahead, whatever that journey might be for you. All right, so I just want to invite you because this really is an invitation. It's a heart intention for me to call in the women entrepreneurs and creators that most need this at this time. So I'm really taking a leap of faith and really feeling into the calling at this time. And what my intention has been for this year and this season is to create what I wish I had. And so what I wish I had at this time, and at every point where I'm sort of at a pivotal juncture in my life or my business, is this. It's sort of a weaving of many, many, many programs, many, many different coaching, experiences and leadership experiences and spiritual experiences that I've had. So it's kind of a structure that's woven itself from kind of what I think has been the most valuable and across all of my journeying. So it's a 60-day virtual group mastermind. It's designed to give you everything you need to refresh, recalibrate, relaunch an authentic and aligned business. Today is Easter, Ostara. It's not Easter, it's Ostara. So in the Celtic Wheel of the Year, we are at that midpoint place, the quarter point place, and we are celebrating the coming of spring. And spring is here, the energy is buzzing, we all feel it, and it can feel really beautiful, and it can also feel really uncomfortable. And some of that discomfort is just sort of also part of this season that we're in as a collective, where things have shifted. things have shifted in the world, things have shifted in our own lives. So when I say recalibrate, we all should be taking this time to really, it's been a kind of a theme since the start of the year for me, to really set the stage and come back into alignment. Because especially when things are in a lot of transformation, it's easy to kind of get out of whack with what our intention is, with what our pulling and our callings are. So this
I'm
is a
on a
chance.
Zoom call.
Oh, hello. Oh, sorry. You can just mute and just make sure. Yeah, thank you. Um, so this is about creating a business and a brand and an offering, whatever that is authentic to you, to your calling, and to that is aligned for you. So success looks very different for everyone. And a lot of times when we're in the world of marketing, especially in the online space, um, it is very easy to get distracted and thrown all over the place. So part of this program is to really help you tune in to the vision that you have for what you're creating. There's some really practical steps that we take to do that. There's also some really soulful and deeper steps, and you'll take the journey that you take with the material. So it's designed to be just enough structure, and the community support, which is, I believe, one of the biggest pieces of this, because we always learn from each other, we grow together, and we support each other in these really big and small ways. So that's kind of the way I've designed it. So we are, when we say brand, which is a word that I've resisted for a long time, a lot of people have a lot of different ideas about what that means. For me, I've come to feel into, the brand is really a story. It's an energy. Your businesses are a creative venture. They don't exist. It's being birthed through us, and it can only be birthed through us. And so it's a weaving of, when we do branding right, we're telling a story that allows people to understand and connect with the vision that you have, with the offerings that you offer. And so is it time to tell a new story? Have you outgrown the way in which you're showing up in your business or in the world? Then if the answer is yes, that's what this program is really designed to help you, empower you to claim that new story with confidence and clarity. So I've already kind of said that it really is a focused, that's why I made it a sort of time-bound program. I want people to really have the benefit and the accountability and the structure of a time-bound program. However, the work continues past this program. So I will be offering support on the other end. But for now, it's spending the next, 60 days committed to this vision and having the support of myself, my 16 plus years of business here as a brand strategist and a brand builder, but also as an entrepreneur. I had a business, I've had other businesses besides what I do now. And so I've learned a lot over many years. And you'll also have a lot of resources and support. You'll also have the community as well. And so it's here to help you evolve your brand strategy, refine your positioning. How do you talk about what it is that you do? How do you help people understand what it is you do, and align that your messaging, whether that's through the copy on your website, the emails that you send out, or the visual communication? How do you, express your brand? And the goal is that we help you elevate all of that so that it's really cohesive and it just really looks the way that it needs to, so that you communicate the right message. There's also some technical stuff that goes into that. Obviously, we have email lists and we have all the widgets and all the things that tend to kind of intimidate us from time to time as solopreneurs. And so I help to ease that a little bit by showing you some easy things that you can do regardless of where you're at in the stage that you're at in your business or tech savviness, and whether or not you're interested in working and in promoting yourself on social media. So that's a big sort of theme for me right now. I've taken myself personally off of Meta platforms, and that's been a big shift in my life and my business. I've been off of it for 2 months now, and it's been uncomfortable. It's been, it was really clear calling, but there's definitely, growing pains in that. But now that I am really in it, I've kind of reinforced that not only is it possible to grow a business without any social media, but at this point where things are shifting, it's actually the smartest business move for any business owner to be able to have a sustainable and solid business regardless of whether or not social media is here today or not. So we're going to talk about all that stuff and what that actually looks like. And so this is for visionary entrepreneurs, coaches, and creators. I've worked mostly with nonprofits and coaches and health and wellness businesses but I've worked with almost every other kind of business as well. But that really is kind of my sweet spot: therapists, healers, people like that. We also serve feminine leaders who have an established brand, website, and audience, but need the support to evolve it into a new focus or direction, whether that's a rebrand, a total overhaul, but usually it's just a shift in some way. So that can look like going from being a therapist to a coach, or going from corporate to entrepreneurship. All of these are transitions that require this process of recalibration. It's mostly, I work with service-based business owners who want to move beyond the hustle and into alignment. So it's really this process that helps us with the overwhelm around doing all the things and feeling like we're not really doing any of it fully or that we're not knowing what the results are. So I really want to ground us in intention and a clear strategy and plan. So it's also for conscious creators of any kind who are seeking sustainable long-term marketing and growth strategies that don't rely on chasing trends or social media. And thought leaders, authors, and teachers who are looking to turn their wisdom into content that sustains their work, empowers their community, and leaves a legacy. And lastly, for soulpreneurs who are craving connection, community, and a network of soulful women business owners to co-create with. As soulpreneurs, and I can just speak for myself, but I know I'm not alone, it can get lonely and it can get really, it's actually counter to a creative process. Creativity needs feedback and it needs other. So bouncing ideas off of each other, off of me, is part of the creative process that I think a lot of times it feels very, stuck. When we're stuck in our creative process, it's amazing what can happen when we kind of get out of our own mind and our own ideas. So this is what this is designed for, and that's why I designed this as a group program. So hi, I'm Claudia Miro. I know that what you're offering in the world is not just a business. It's really a part of your soul that's wanting to come through, something that new, that has not been yet activated, and it's unique, it's creative, it's sacred, and it's evolving. It's wanting to take on a new form in some way. So I also know, like I mentioned, branding's a story. It's ever emerging and it's an alchemical journey. So it's never over. And so this is going to be like a lab that we create together to be able to work with it in this moment at this time. And it's really amazing to think of what will emerge out of here. So, and I know for me, I have been in many catalysts over many years, and I can look back. The name The Inspired Brand came out of a program with a group of women and a writing retreat that we did. And so I know all the different activations that have happened. That's kind of why I'm designing Catalyst in this way. So I would love to help you clarify your mission, message, your expression, so that you can feel more confident sharing it with the world. So this is our mission as the Inspired Brand. It's to empower visionary, conscious, feminine leaders to embody and express the heart of their brand with authenticity, power, and purpose. And I say feminine because it does not mean male or female. It means someone who is really connected to the feminine, to the fact that we are not to control anything. We are to allow inspiration and energy to move through us, to be of service, to be collective and community oriented, to be for the betterment of all. That is the feminine way. It's also to be guided instead of to try and force something. So there's a lot of aspects of feminine leadership we'll be kind of really grounding in through this program and through everything that I kind of put out. But that's why we mention it's about feminine leadership and thoughtful strategy and creative collaboration, that's how we guide you to uncover what you are trying to create, your essence, and craft a brand that reflects your values and it amplifies your message. You are the only one that can make that happen, but there's ways that I can support you in feeling really, really clear and grounded in how to do that. And so, yeah, I want it to align with your highest vision so you can create the lasting impact that you're here to make with clarity, beauty, and ease. All right, now we're just going to get into kind of what is the core of the program. So, brand strategy is something that, unless you have a huge budget, and in the past, it used to be that only big businesses went through these steps. And it's not really something that a lot of small business owners understand. And so I actually came in through the side door of branding, and I had to kind of learn branding and brand strategy after I was a marketing communications consultant. And I kind of realized about 5 years into my business that what I was really doing, and when I was building a website or when I was writing an email campaign, was brand strategy and brand development. And so I've kind of developed my own framework, and I'll share a little bit of that as we go through here. I won't get into the weeds. This is just some of the ideas that will be woven into the program. I believe the way that I work is we start with soul. We have to start with soul because that is the thing that will ground all of this, is really understanding the vision that you have and what it is that you're being called to create. Sometimes that's really clear. Other times we need to do a little work to kind of clarify that a little bit. Then we create a strategy and we build a framework and a roadmap so that you can, and that's what we call strategy. It's really a roadmap. That's the way I think of it. It's how are you going to realize that soul's calling. Then we put it together. So that's where creativity comes in. And that can look like designing a website. It can look like designing a logo. It can look like crafting beautiful copy for your homepage and for your website. So the creation of it comes after that. And a lot of times in branding projects, people think of it as, oh, I'm going to build a website and then my business will be ready to go. Or they want to launch into building designing a logo or designing a website, and they haven't done the kind of foundational steps of the soul and the strategy piece. And then it just doesn't feel like it ever clicks in, or you just really don't know what you're doing. So that's why these steps and these phases are really critical, and they all work synergistically together. And lastly, we put the systems in place, and that can be tech tools, right? What website platform do we use? What scheduling software do we use? All of that stuff. But it can also be the way in which you run your business. Do you have a schedule that allows you to make time for the things that you need to do to work on the business or in the business? Do you have support? Do you hire contractors? I mean, there's so many ways that we create systems to support ourselves in business. And as entrepreneurs, a lot of that comes through hard, lessons learned the hard way. So I'll try and basically map out what it can look like when you leverage technology, when you simplify your systems and create ways that people can support you in various ways that people don't really think about when they're first starting out. So anyway, that's kind of the way that works. And ideally, we want magic to emerge out of all of that. And so this is part of my roadmap that I've designed over the years. It's kind of to really help you understand that it's a journey. It truly is a journey. It's a soul's journey. And so we start by clarifying your mission, vision, and values. And it really is a process that keeps going. But then we kind of work our way through the soul client avatar. And so a lot of people call this the ideal client profile, or you've probably heard of that in kind of business strategy language. I call it your soul client. Who is it that you are here to serve? And who's there looking for what it is that you offer. And so once we define that, there's so much power and momentum from there to create the positioning and the messaging that is speaking directly to that person. And that's the thing that we really help you nail down. Then we create your brand voice and personality. What is your brand? What is it? What is it that differentiates your social media content from everyone else out there doing the same thing? And then we go into visual expression, visual identity. That can be, social media content. It can be the graphics that you use. It can be your business card. It can be logos. It can be all of that. So we create the feel and the look and feel of your brand's identity. And then we go into content strategy. So this is actually really, really powerful. Once you've done these steps, to map out, okay, how is it that I organize my website? How is it that I present my offerings to clients? So that can look like a Canva pitch deck. So I'll have templates for all of this stuff inside of Catalyst. So you'll have some places to start. You'll have not only copy templates, for example, an about page template. It'll show you a guide for how to create a powerful about page. So pretty much anything that you're going to want to, wherever you're at, you'll have the resources and the guidance to create from. That's the way I've designed it. Then you'll have an action plan where we basically give you the map for after Catalyst. In Catalyst, you'll have an action plan for sure that emerges after every session and every week, but we'll also give you the 90-day roadmap for once you're done so that you can continue the momentum. All right, that's a lot of info. So I'll just glance through these. This is the process. We won't go through all of this right now, but this is typically what I guide my clients through. And this is actually my own process. This is not a standard thing, but it's a version of what you would see out there. If I were to do this with you one-on-one and for the done for you services, you're talking, thousands of dollars because it really does take time to understand your business, your market, your audience, et cetera, et cetera. So what I've designed Catalyst to do is to really guide you to really understand these aspects of your brand and your business so that you're empowered to do this yourself and to then reach out for support when you need it. But so yeah, it is a coaching process that's going to guide you through the aspects of a pretty traditional brand strategy, my soulful version of a brand strategy. And so, yeah, this is kind of what we do. I'm going to help you wherever you need. So some businesses might not need to spend so much time on audience and market insights, but typically just even touching on each of these is really powerful to kind of round it all out. And then we'll get into some of the fun stuff. So that's the goal. We're going to walk you through that, but this is what the outcome will be, hopefully, that you will have at the end of these 60 days, a refined brand strategy that aligns with your new vision, your current market climate, and your client needs. You will know who it is that you are, what your purpose is, and what your message is, and who you serve, and how to communicate that. That's my goal. You will have a values aligned marketing plan that does not rely on social media for success if you don't want it to. It can also include social media, but will set you up for success regardless. You'll also have a clear and compelling brand messaging and copy to tell your new story. So you will also have access to a couple of cool new AI-driven prompts and exercises that will help you. If you're not a copywriter, we can help you with not only that, but then you'll also have my support and our group support as you're crafting it to get inspired, get some feedback, etc. You'll have a refresh mood board. So we are going to get creative in here. All of it's creative, but this will be really visually fun to create a mood board. And I'll show you how I create a mood board as I create every branding project. So you'll have some visual inspiration to update your brand look and feel. We'll do some Canva tutorials as well. So you'll learn how to design stuff for yourself or learn how to hire others to do some work for you. Recalibrated set of offerings and a clear roadmap to scale your business and leverage your time and wisdom. A lot of people get stuck here, not knowing how to package themselves, how to price their services or their programs. So we will work on this. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. So we will definitely dig into that. And you'll have exposure to a new set of systems and workflows and a brand toolkit. So at the end of this, I want you to have your tech and your systems in place so that you can sustain and keep things flowing and keep the inspiration going moving forward. And hopefully you'll have a renewed sense of confidence, clarity, and inspiration that's going to fuel this next chapter of your work and your business. So obviously the bonus is you have a supportive community of fellow soulpreneurs and conscious women business owners who will hopefully continue to be a beautiful part of your journey. All right. So what you can expect, I won't get into, I've already covered some of that. But I will say, I have been in the trenches doing this and behind the scenes for people for over 15 years, almost 16 years now. So we will make this really interactive. It will not be boring. And I hope I'm trying to make it not overwhelming. So I'm trying to put a lot of value in it, but not make the pacing of it feel like too much. We all have really busy, full lives, especially in the spring. So the way it's designed, I'll get into next. Here's the format. So what we're going to do, the initial launch date that I have planned is, well, I'll get into the format and then I'll talk about, so every Sunday you will receive, first of all, you'll get access to a Mighty Networks platform. So if you haven't worked with Mighty Networks, it is a private group platform. So it's a community platform. Instead of Facebook groups or Discord servers or things like that, Mighty Networks provides not only a desktop version, so you can browse on the internet and access our Mighty Network, or you can download an app and have it on your phone. But it's basically a place where we have all of our content, all of our conversations, all of our events, everything is provided for you inside of this space. So it is on Sundays, you'll receive all the modules and the content for that week. So we'll be dripping it out in every week, and you'll be able to dig into that, do the exercises. Every exercise is designed to be fun and exciting. It's not going to be daunting, hopefully. And so you'll work through that for a few days. And then on Wednesdays, afternoons from 4 to 6 p.m. is the current tentative time. We're still kind of navigating that with who's going to be in the group, but that's the intention, is to have a call on Wednesdays from 4 to 6. That call is where you get to come and have live coaching, Q&A, support from me and the group. And this will be a small group, so you'll have a lot of hands-on support. And if you decide to do the group coaching path, which then you won't have the one-on-one support, but there's also an option to have one-on-one, more personalized support and have one call each month with me. So actually, sorry, not each month, at the start of the program, after the first month, and then at the end of the program. So we will provide printable workbooks, editable workbooks inside if you want to just work on it on your computer, guided prompts, reflection exercises, personalized feedback, curated resources, which has been quite extensive. So I'll be sharing a little bit of that. And the weekly schedule, again, is actually shifted. So this was going to be a live training, but again, now we shifted it to Sundays is when you will receive all the information and the recordings of the materials that you need for the week. Wednesday, we'll have our live coaching. And then Thursday, we have a creative co-working session, like I host every Thursday now, from 2 to 4. Actually, no, we shifted that from 4 to 6 as well. So every Thursday from 4 to 6, you'll just have a space where we lovingly guide you in a focus session to get stuff done. And it's 3 25-minute focus bursts, and it's based on the Pomodoro technique. It's something that in my ADHD coaching has been really helpful. So for me to tackle these big projects that I just kept delaying or resisting, I found that breaking them up into these smaller chunks of focused productivity is really, really helpful. And from time to time, I am actually going to be hosting a couple of really amazing special guests. So I have my dear friend Suzanne Rothmeyer, who's a brand photographer, to come and do a special amazing workshop. And I have a special session that I'm working on for success without social media. So that's going to be really cool as well. All right, so let's try and just shift into, I won't get into the content that's on the website, so you can look through. We're going to go through, like I said, all the stages. First, we're just going to get to know each other. You'll have lots of support. So anything that's tech oriented, there's a space inside of Mighty Networks for you to just come and get tech support on whatever issue you're having, whether that's a website related issue or a Canva related issue. So there's going to be a tech therapy section in the space where you can come and get help for that. And there's also a space for feedback. So the feedback forum is where you'll be able to receive feedback on anything that you're working on, anything that you're stuck on, anything you want to have the group or my support on. And then I think I already kind of covered most of that, but if you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer this at the end. And here's the little info about Mighty Network. So it is a private space. It's not on any social media platforms. I have, full ownership of the content inside of there, and it's fully private. So it just makes it really easy to connect, collaborate. It's all the same functionality. So you can send direct messages, you can promote yourself and build your profile up on there, share content, etc., and just stay accountable and focused throughout the program. All right, so here is where I just want to open it up if there's any questions before I kind of dig in more. I think mostly I just want to make sure that I'm covering everything. Yeah, I think. Oh, there we go. I just wanted to give you a sneak peek. So these are some of the materials, and I didn't really mention this on the sales page, but I do want to just share real quick that we've actually created our own custom GPT. So I will be giving you access to the GPT, and you'll also receive templates like I mentioned, the about page. So this actually gives you literally a template to work from to build your about page. It has some examples, it has structure, so you can just literally fill in the blanks and have, a new about page, for example. But this is just one example of many that you'll have access to inside of our portal. You'll also have the brand strategy roadmap. So this is a workbook where you can literally map out and fill in the blanks for your brand strategy, but it also gives you some really juicy questions to make sure that you are in alignment with what it is that you're being asked to create. And then this is just a little bit more, again, visuals. And then this is the Inspired Brand Dashboard. So this is your own Notion dashboard. So this is what we use now to kind of organize our content and our information. So you'll have your very own dashboard inside of Notion where you can start building out pretty much all of your brand strategy, but also your brand assets. It's literally your brand dashboard. So you can have that obviously as you grow your brand and business. And it's kind of a one-stop shop to have all of your, your mission, vision, and values, your brand assets, your brand voice, your strategy, all in one place. So it's a pretty powerful system that we've designed, and you'll have access to your very own dashboard. This is another workbook that you'll have access to, the brand story workbook as well, the brand vision. So depending on what you need to kind of deepen and dig into, you'll have all of those resources in there. Okay, that's a lot of info. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and see if anyone's still there, and if you have any questions. Oh, I see one here. Will the group coaching calls be recorded to watch at another time? Yes, everything is recorded. The group call, I shouldn't say that. Creative co-working will not be recorded, but the group coaching calls will be. So, but yes, anytime you have to miss for any reason, obviously you'll have the recording within a few hours to access inside of our space. And the dates, I do want to call that out. So it's not the first weekend of April, it's the second. So you'll receive the materials, I believe, on April. Let me just get that here. There we go. Okay. So can't believe it's the end of March. There we go. So on April 6th, you'll receive your first module. So module 0, the kind of getting started, onboarding, all that stuff will arrive to your inbox. On the 6th, you'll get invited into the Mighty Network space. And then we'll have our first group call on Wednesday, the 9th from 4 to 6 p.m. And then we'll go all the way through, I believe, the very end of May. There we go. Yeah, I believe our last call, if we do this right, is going to be Wednesday, the 28th will be our last group coaching call of May, and the 29th we'll have one last creative co-working call. And then I'm trying to make some sort of in-person thing happen, which sounds a little crazy, but depending on who we end up with in the program, we might do a celebration either virtually, or if we can make it in person, that would be Amazing. All right. How many hours? Good question. So, like I said, I'm designing it to where hopefully it's not too overwhelming, but it is meant for you to get value out of it. So, I would say on the low end to review everything and kind of dig into things, maybe 2 hours, ideally four. So if you can give it, the more energy you give it, because there's some of them will be easier than others. So it really depends kind of what you want to dig more into. But somewhere between 2 to 4 hours a week to just dig into the materials would be good to think about. Hi, please. Hi, Susan.
So this is very exciting, and I know that I need a lot of help with my emotional intelligence business for corporate predominantly. So that's the one that I would want the most help for. But also, I want to get moving and launching my hypnotherapy recording downloads, which is way more clear cut to me in terms of me having to think through all of your pillars and areas. It's like way more clear cut for me. So if I feel I have the personal bandwidth, can I be working on both of these different businesses and you're okay answering questions about both? Or are you going to say, no, Sue, I'm only going to talk about one of your things?
No, I bring it. I mean, bring it. It is kind of in my experience, it's tricky sometimes to be able to sort of be in both and trying to launch two businesses at once. I've done it. When I opened my co-working space, I was also in the kind of rebirth of the Inspired brand. And it's not impossible. It's just if you can do that, if that feels like it's alive for you and you wanted to kind of work with both or whatever's feeling called to in either one, I trust you to kind of guide yourself through this process. These are the way I've kind of thought about it is I want you to have exposure to this work, to this framework, and then you can go back in. And like I said, it's just an ongoing process. It's not ever done. So you can revisit stuff. You'll have all the materials. I'll keep the space open to pass the program so you guys can kind of continue to work it. So the answer is trust your guidance, what feels alive for you right now, what needs to be clarified for either. And yeah, you can. I mean, I'm creating multiple things all the time. I have ADHD. So, I mean, creative minds do that. So, yeah, I won't not answer questions about another business. I think it's all good. It's all exciting.
Okay, and then I have another question, but I prefer to ask you or chat about it after the recording so it's not living forever for other people to see.
Yeah, yeah. So I just put the link in the chat. So I forgot to mention since this is being recorded. Right now we're in a early bird promotional period. So it's a very generous offer. I want to make this as accessible to people as possible. I know not everybody has, the abundance flowing in this moment in our economy. So I wanted to just make this available. And on that link, so if you go to theinspiredbrand.com/catalyst, you'll get way more info than you need, hopefully, about the program. You'll also be able to sign up and register for either option, whether you choose the group coaching path or the group coaching plus one-on-one coaching with me. Either option, you have $500 off currently if you pay in full. If you want to break it up into payments, that's still an option as well. We just don't offer the early bird, unfortunately, for that, but you can break it up and to make it easier for you to join either path. And then you also have a link on that page to schedule a one-on-one info call with me. So I'm happy to dig into more personalized questions that you might have about the program and whether or not it aligns for you this round. So, and this is the initial cohort. So this is like the initiation round. And so I'm going to be pouring as much as I can into making this as awesome as possible. And not sure when I'll be able to offer it again, but my intention is to do that, but not sure when. So, so get it while you can is what I am telling people. But yeah, and so if there's any other questions, feel free to jump in. I'm not sure if we still have Greta in here, but let's see if there's anything else. I had wanted to give a sneak peek of the Mighty Networks platform, but I think that's maybe for another time. So I'll just send that out maybe next week at some point. But we are busy right now building out this really beautiful space for us all to live in for that program for the 60 days. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a nice burst of hopefully inspiration and focus and this, sea of all this transformation that we're in so that we can create something really cool and needed at this time. So, all right. Well, not sure if there's any more questions. So I am here. Please visit theinspiredbrand.com/catalyst to join or to ask any questions, schedule a session with me, and join our mailing list. If you're watching this and you haven't joined our mailing list yet, please do so. And I'll be sending updates as we get closer to the program and obviously ongoing. I send out a monthly newsletter and a couple inspiring posts throughout the month. Nothing too crazy, but join us. I'm so excited that you came today, and I really, really hope to see